the industry, the film industry, the commercial industry, the television industry, theater, it's community. Like, you're going to make the best product if everyone is working together. This is Cinematography for Actors podcast. I am Haeleigh, your host. Indiana, your other host, is in Barcelona still because we're batch recording today. So I am truly without host. I had some guest hosts earlier. They're also gone. I'm here with my friend Madi Dunne, who is a London-based actor, and other things that we're going to get into.
Hello.
Where do you live?
I live in... Oh, God, take me on a date first. No, I live in London, in Brixton, to be exact.
Brixton's very cool.
It is quite cool, actually. Yeah, I'm not cool enough for it.
I left you before you were in Brixton. I think you were still in Snaresbrook.
I was East London through and through. And then I thought, nah. Are we allowed to swear on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Please, by all means, please swear.
Not that I'm a massive swearer, but I thought, fuck this. I'm going to go south.
Yeah. Because East London really is a bit dangerous, isn't it?
Well, dangerous dangerous for your, what's the word I'm looking for? Reputation if you're not cool. That's dangerous. And I was not cool enough for East London. No, I just, I think there's two different vibes. Obviously, you've lived in London, you know. Mm-hmm. There is a north, south, east, west divide. Mm-hmm. And you stay in your zone. Right. And once you're in that zone, you will hold it to the death. And I'm southwest now.
That's where you play.
Yeah, where you play, where you live. Are. Yeah, exactly. So that's where I live now, southwest, and I've stayed there basically since after you left London.
Wow.
It's because you left London that I had to move there.
Your friends left.
So I left. I'll stay there.
I met Madi Dunne. Madeline Dunne.
Yeah.
Goes by Madi to her friends, which I am. I met Madi because she went to a theater school called East 15. That's probably needed. The thing is,
here she goes.
People who grow up in the United Kingdom start training in drama the day they're born, right? Like, you have, like, in school you're talking about Shakespeare, and you're learning these things, and then there are all these opportunities to learn different methods that I think internationally we don't really get. So I mean, an MFA or an MA international needing that extra year to just kind of like give students a base, just like what is drama, makes sense.
Also, I think the way that we work in the UK for actors is probably quite different to how you work in LA or the States, or at least we have a different system.
Do you mean the business?
Yeah, and also that, like, spotlight, and I mean, obviously you don't necessarily get taught that much about that, but we had like the odd session, and I think maybe that's very different to LA. Obviously, I've not lived in LA, so I can't say. It's
similar in ways and different in ways. Generally, someone who is represented does a lot less of their own submission, I think, in the US than in the UK. From what I've learned, in the UK, you are on Spotlight and you can continue submitting yourself.
Only if you're not fully represented.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
But no, I'm wrong. But I think there is there's a lot to do, or a lot to be said for pushing yourself and like trying to make connections by yourself, because London is probably smaller than LA, but there's still a lot of actors. It's smaller.
Yeah.
So before drama school, I went and did a degree at Birmingham University, a drama degree, and I met loads of people who are now in the industry, but a lot of them are not actors. They're like producers and stage managers and work in theatre and work in TV.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, Anna, she's a senior TV producer, and she said, "Oh, I think you could. Do you want to be a production assistant? Like underneath me, and I'll tell you what to do." And it turned out I was I was quite good at it. You basically have to be organised and a little neurotic.
Yeah,
so
you just have to be like paying attention and be like, what does everybody need right now?
Yeah, like permanent state of anxiety. Great stuff.
And you loved that for how long? Do you still love it?
I still love it.
Okay.
And now I'm a junior producer. So it's one of those jobs where, in commercials I should say, because obviously they're short stints. But this is I work for a production company. I'm going to shout them out now.
Yes.
They're called Bridget Productions.
Bridget.
And it's a female production company, female-led production company.
Wait, I love this.
I know. And Nicole, who's my boss, set it up, and she's a carer for her nan, who's called Bridget, and it's just so nice. And she set this incredible company up, and it's a year old in April, and we guarantee 50-50, or at least 50-50 gender split behind the scenes. So
that's
at
great.
least 50% women or non-binary or gender neutral, whatever
really
you'd like to
great.
call it. But yeah, so I work for them.
What's their Instagram? Do they have one?
At Bridget Prods, I think it is.
Okay.
At
We'll
Bridget
drop
Prods.
that so people can find them.
Yeah,
that
come
is
and
very
hit
cool.
us up, give us a like,
That
follow
is
us on
very cool.
LinkedIn.
And you're a junior producer. Was that the idea? Was that the plan? How did you come to this decision?
Arrangement. So I was freelancing as a production assistant for a year or so, which I was really enjoying. But it is, first of all, as you well know, being self-employed can sometimes be quite lonely,
Yes.
especially if you're an actor, because it's
Very lonely.
not really a teamwork thing unless you're in something, and you're not always in something.
This is why it's important to get out and network, even
Yes.
though the word networking sometimes is scary.
Brings you out in
It's
hives.
not a bad thing. You got to go find your friends and find your community.
Yeah.
PSA from Cinematography for Actors.
Yes, you do.
Sign up for the newsletter to find out when our next event is that you can attend and start building your own community. Back to the show.
Yeah, so I was, but I was doing odd jobs as a production assistant. A lot of it was working from home because it was post-COVID. And I was like, this is fun, but I don't have any team or like colleagues, basically. I never meet them. It's all over Zoom or, last minute things. So then I was like, I want a bit of stability as well. And that also enabled me to progress a little bit, because it's very hard to progress when you're freelance, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's how that came about. And also it marries in quite well with being an actor, because I get to see the, particularly in commercial production, I get to see like a 360 view of how casting works, what it looks like when you're an actor and you send in a self-tape, and the people aren't getting back to you, what that means. And it's quite good. It's quite I don't know, it gives you a sense of hope that actually it's nothing to do with your skill, but more to do with what the client or what the director wants, which is fine.
Right.
If you don't look like that, that's not your fault. It's okay.
Yeah. So we don't have in the US the title of junior producer. What is that?
So it's, I don't think it's, I don't know. A lot of people don't bother with junior producer. It'd just be like producer or not. But I guess you could call it a learning curve. It's like learning on the job.
Right. So it's just kind of letting people know you're like, I'm junior.
Yeah.
I'm new.
Yeah, essentially. But also learning, there's a lot of stuff that I've learned along the way that I, probably know more than some people. Maybe I know less. So it's just an opportunity for me to try new stuff as well.
Are there other departments that are starting to interest you now, since you're on set and dealing with them?
Do you know what I love? I love like the creative, the coming up with the concept,
right?
Particularly in adverts,
kind of like an art director.
Yeah, like creative director, creative, coming up with the concepts and the copy for the adverts, and so yeah, I love that. But that is an entirely different field that would probably require entirely different skill set. But maybe there's a sideways step. We'll see.
Okay, so that is so cool. Did you stop making cakes before you started being a set PA?
No.
Okay, you were still doing cakes.
There was a sort of during COVID, obviously things slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
And I was doing that a bit more on a kind of ad hoc basis. the freelancing PA stuff. And then when I realised actually, especially in commercials, it's a quite a good income. So I thought, okay, maybe I should try this a bit more.
Yeah. And then do you PA anymore now that you're producing?
I would because I'm with a company now. I'm not freelance, but that's not to say I'd never go back to it, because it is really fun, and you get to meet so many cool people, and you're on set. And I think when you're not acting, that's a really nice place to be. There's rarely been a time that I've been like, oh, I wish I was that actor.
Really?
Well, not because I don't want to be the actor, but because I'm having equally as much fun on the other side. Obviously, if I got a commercial as an actor, that would be like, oh, I wish I was the PA. But I think it's good that I found something that I love equally as much, because you can't always live off acting.
No, you rarely can live off.
Actually, rarely. Okay, I was maybe being a little optimistic.
No, it's very rare. I don't know if you know, it's very rare.
It's really rare to be an actor.
You rarely can live off acting. Producing is for you. Acting is for you.
I think so. Well,
okay.
I'm here.
How are you balancing your time? How are you making sure that you are? I mean, or do you want to be keeping that? Like fire burning?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I think with acting, the problem is because you are so vulnerable physically, like you have to be on all the time in a way that you aren't necessarily on in other jobs. You can hide behind things a little bit more. I think when things go wrong in your life, it can be hard to maintain that for a bit. So last year, for example, I wasn't having the best time, and I took a step back from it, because sometimes you just need to just be with you, if you know what I mean.
Right, because as an actor, you're sharing yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anything else,
if you don't have any self,
you don't want to be sharing.
No, exactly. And it's tiring to pretend, as most actors do.
Yes.
But so I took a step back from that for a bit, and for a bit of stability took like more of a full-time job. So I didn't necessarily need to balance it in the same way. Now I'm finding my feet again. It is a little more challenging because I'm trying to apply my energy to two places that I really, really enjoy. Right. And I want to maintain that. It might come to a point where I'm like, oh, okay, this is not really sustainable. But for now, I'm thriving on the kind of adrenaline of like, I don't know, balancing.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. And how many days a week are you on set?
Well, at the moment, because it's in-house, it depends on how many shoots we have. But I guess like once a week, once a fortnight.
And this in-house job is full-time, right? Like you're there 9 to 6.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm very lucky. My manager, so I actually went to uni with her. She was the year below, and we didn't know each other that much when I was there, but we've kind of worked in different capacities on and off since then, basically. So she knows that I'm an actor as well. I wouldn't say I'm primarily an actor, because now I'd say it's a 50-50 split of where I feel like my skill set lies, I suppose.
Yeah. That's great. Everyone's hyphenate. Everyone's gotta be hyphenating.
Yeah, you can be a producer, come writer, come singer, come mechanic, whatever you want to be.
Actors be hyphenating.
Yeah.
Right now.
Maybe right.
Do you feel like they're, like, having been on set now as a producer, as a set PA, and not just as an actor, do you feel like there are things that you've picked up that you wish you had learned or known about in school?
From being in corporate environments where you feel like you are an underdog, or you feel like you're not good enough, or all these people have worked their way up and you're like a small fry. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I know a lot of people have like imposter syndrome. I think the biggest thing I realized, and you can, once you feel this, you can apply it to everything, is that no one actually knows what they're doing. Everyone is bullshitting. Yeah. Like, everyone's even when they, I mean, obviously there are times people are like, I'm in my element, but a lot of times people are bullshitting, and once you know that, it's less scary. Yeah. And I wish I'd known that before, when I was going onto a set and being like, oh my God, everyone knows what they're doing and I'm not important. And actually, it doesn't matter, because you're there to do your bit of the job.
Your first day on set, Did they tell you where to go? Did you know where to arrive?
Well, I feel like commercials are a bit different to like, because there's more budget basically. So you get a car.
Oh, so you had a production
I had a
pickup?
car. Yeah, I had a car.
Okay.
And so that brought me to the set. But obviously I've been on short films and things and you know, other smaller films and things where you get there and you're like, I don't even know if I'm in the right place.
Right.
And I don't know who
Excuse
anyone
me?
is. But that's the other thing. You arrive and you just kind of, you feel awkward because you have to be like, hi, I'm the actor or one of the actors.
Hello.
And so most of the time they do know who you are, because if you're on production and they're like, I don't know, second AD or first AD or a runner, they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, go over here. But you feel awkward announcing like, I am the actor has arrived.
They told me to come here. I know my lines.
Yeah. Yeah. And also just, oh my God, the biggest thing, not that I didn't learn this at drama school, but just be nice to everyone.
Yeah.
Because it just makes your day.
Just
Even
so
when
much
you're
better.
working in production as well. I've had an actor before. I've been on the production side and an actor has been an absolute dick to me. And I've been like,
me too.
oh, no, don't do that.
Don't say names, but definitely say what happened.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was like checking people in and making sure, this was post-COVID, and making sure people had done their forms and taken their COVID tests and X, Y, Z. And they weren't even, not a big actor, but like they weren't a famous actor. They were just on a commercial, just a jobbing actor like the rest of us. And he was just really rude and like just really condescending, like, well, you know, I'm an actor. And in my head I was like,
Aren't we?
We're all
like, pull out
actors.
your equity card.
Yeah.
You're like, we're all actors, bud.
yeah, can I see your spotlight, please?
Spotlight number, please.
Yeah. But also being in the casting as well, I know that there were other actors where I've watched the tapes and been like, they were so good, and everyone's been like, they're amazing, but they don't fit. So I know you're not always the best actor on the set as well. No.
You just looked right.
Yeah. You just got blonde hair.
What do you wish actors knew?
That is a good question.
Because now you're in house and now you're...
Yeah. What do I wish they knew? That the crew is there a really long time before and after you, often. And they're working really long hours too. And obviously it can be really boring when you're sat around in the green room or you're sat around for a while. But often you've got the cushy experience, even if it is really cold and you're shivering. Right. I'm not saying it's always easy, because it can be really shitty, but the crew is there. And they've been working like a lot before then as well.
Yeah. Everyone else has been on their feet.
Yeah. But also everyone's just working hard. So I just think... Yeah. But also as an actor as well, on production side, I have worked with extras before, and they get a raw deal sometimes. I mean, they're paid quite well, but they get a
really raw deal.
They're treated really badly sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no moral to that story, but I feel like sometimes they're treated badly.
I heard a story recently about someone, because we're speaking mostly to actors. I heard a story recently about someone who was working background, or as an extra, because it was here. And they kept telling all the other extras and anyone who would listen from production that they really shouldn't be background. That they shouldn't. They're trained. They're like good. So they kept trying to like talk their way into a role somehow. And
tell me it didn't work.
No.
Oh my God.
Yes, many people who are working background are trained. Like, yeah, that's the first thing you do. Like, you come to a city where they're shooting films, and that's how you start getting on set. You work as a background actor, unless you have some other connection and you somehow like are amazing and it's magic and you got in. But generally, you're gonna work some background days. And the thing that strikes me about a person who would try to assert that they are better than the rest of the people who have the same job as them is that proves to me actually that you are right where you belong, and you actually need to continue being a background actor for a few years, because
Nothing is below you. Nothing
you're not
should
ready.
be below you.
You're not ready to be number one. You're not ready to be number two, because those people have to come in and carry a production with grace.
I would say that about production as well, because I think there are a lot of people, because it can be hard to climb in various roles in production, and you have to sometimes work really hard to get your first job.
Yeah.
I was very lucky, but in nepotism, I worked my way in from a friend, as a lot of people do. It can be really hard, and you can be, for me, not necessarily production, but I'm sure there are runners who are similar ages to me, and there are people in, junior roles who are the same age or older. And I just think nothing is below you. Yeah. You have to work from the bottom, and it shouldn't be like that. But also it should, because there are people there who've been working years and years and years doing the same thing.
And even if you don't work from the bottom, it's just the industry, the film industry, the commercial industry, the television industry, theater, it's community. Like, you're going to make the best product if everyone is working together.
Yes, definitely.
And you don't make a good product by working with people who you've pissed off by pretending like you're better than they are.
Yeah,
you have to work together to make a good story.
Yeah, and you want to be like the light on set. You want to be the person, the solution to everyone's problem of like, oh, I can breathe a sigh of relief because I know that person's going to do their job. They're not going to complain. They're just going to, I mean, obviously if you're being treated terribly, stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And particularly in the case of like, I mean, we're getting deep here now, but like as a woman on set, if you're feeling degraded or mistreated, then absolutely stand up for yourself.
Absolutely say something.
Yes, please say something. But like generally, I think, yeah, of course. And also that's how you learn. If you are still like watching, observing people from the bottom, that's great.
How would your communication with the crew differ now that you've had on-set experience as a member of the crew from when you just came out of school and you started working?
I guess this is as an actor, I think it's very easy to be quite one-track minded. And when you go on set, you're looking at the director, and then you kind of are blind to everyone else doing all the jobs that make the whole thing come together. Like I'm in awe of all of the kind of departments, because I have no idea how to do those things. Like that's not my remit. I don't know how to rig a camera. I don't know how to rig the lights. I don't know how to like set up a shot. I'd love to know those things, but I'm just not skilled in that area and I don't have that experience. But it's really nice when you go on set now and I think it's having an understanding as well. It's just stuff you don't know. And now I do have an understanding. I go on set and I understand what people do and how they make the production come together and what their role is. And it makes for a much more interesting experience if you understand that you, like you said, you're all a team, you're all moving parts. It's not like the actor. This is another thing. I think actors quite often think they are the starring role.
Yeah. No matter what. Yeah.
And you are you are the face of that, but ultimately it can't happen without any of those other people. I also had quite an interesting, funny experience. I did like a promotional thing for Channel 5 last year.
Right.
And I'd been PAing quite a bit over the summer. I went to set and some of the runners who I was like, basically were on my crew the time before were running on this set when I was an actor. And I was like, oh my God, hi, so nice to see you. And because I wasn't in my normal context, they didn't recognize me at first. Whoa. And then I was like, oh, we worked together last week. And then it kind of fell into place. But it was really nice because it was something familiar when it can be quite nerve-wracking to go onto a set.
Yeah.
And they're a lovely crew.
Do you think that informed your performance at all?
Yeah, I think I relaxed a bit because it didn't feel like... Because I think it can be terrifying. I remember when I first did an advert and I went on set and suddenly had all of these people watching, like even just one line, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to say it wrong.
And you didn't know any of those people?
Didn't know any of them. I knew that there were clients watching on a monitor. I knew there were people upstairs. I knew there was this whole crew. And what I also realised is none of those people are watching your performance, apart from the clients, but the crew are just doing their job. And also, like you said, when I realised that I knew people, it was like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, like these are
they're
my
not all
buds.
watching me to watch me fail.
Yeah.
Just doing their job.
Do you feel like people watch you to watch you fail, Maddie?
In life, yes.
Oh.
No. But I think that again is just a general thing of confidence when you first come out of drama school. And also it's so interesting. I remember coming out of drama school, going to an audition, sitting in the, I don't know, holding space, and it was a commercial audition. And just the more I've gone to over the years, you can tell the people that have just graduated, because they're really chatty, but they're talking to their friends really loudly about like all the stuff they've done. And it's just interesting because they're obviously a little more jaded.
Right. Everyone just kind of
like slumps down.
No,
but it's kind of, it's quite nice. I mean, obviously it's nice to talk to people and everyone's very friendly, but there's less about like, pick me, I've done this and this. It's a bit more relaxed. It's nice.
Wow. Do you have in-person auditions?
I had my first one in 2 or 3 years today.
Whoa.
And that was
today.
What a day.
Oh my gosh, this morning?
Yeah, this morning.
What was it for?
It was for a commercial, for a freelance platform. So it's a bit of silly improv, which was really nice, because when you're doing self-tapes, that's the other thing from learning from production. The problem with self-tapes for commercials, I'm obviously speaking from a commercial perspective because that's where a lot of my production experience is, but you see all these tapes come in, and the problem with COVID is that it meant a lot more people would audition in theory because you could just ask for loads of self-tapes, whereas in person you have less slots.
Yeah.
So it meant that as an actor you felt like a commodity, a bit more of like that you had less chance because
and
there were more
one
tapes
in a sea of tapes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to have the first, and also you bounce off people better in a room. The director's there, the casting director is there in front of you.
Were you nervous?
I was really nervous before.
Oh my gosh.
And then I came out, and as I always do when when you come off stage and you're like, I can do that.
That was fine.
But I do remember the last time I went on stage being in the wings and being like, no, I never want to do this ever again.
Really?
And then I went on and I was like, yeah, I can do this. It's fine. I'd like to ask a question. Okay. I don't know if it's, I think TikTok is global. I don't have TikTok because I had to delete it because I became obsessed with watching videos, and much like Candy Crush in like 2013.
You're like, goodbye, gotta delete that.
Got to go. I guess my question is it really big in the States, and do you think there are any actors coming from there, like any people that make content? Because I think that's happening a lot here, and I'm actually not against it, because if you are funny and you're creating all this content that's really funny, you deserve to have that seen. If you're not funny and it's shit content, it's just like, I don't know, making fun of people, I don't know, then I'm not for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of a lot of TikTok talent.
I thought you were going to say TikTok tat.
TikTok tat.
TikTok talent.
There's a lot of tat in TikTok. A lot of TikTok talent. TikTok is big, and people do find fame through that, and then they end up, a lot of TikTokers end up on like reality television.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do a great job there. I don't know of any that have. Well, I mean, I know of some that are like, got like recurring things, but it's just for who they are, or like who they're.
Interesting.
It's not because they're actors. Like, I don't think TikTok's really created any actors who've like booked roles.
We have some over here, really? I think. Musical theatre. I'm not going to quote any names because I'm worried I'm going to get them wrong. I can't remember their acts, whatever it's called. But definitely, and I cannot remember his name, but he's very good. And he was in the show 10% here, which is like Call My Agent, the French show. And I think he either came from TikTok or Instagram, but he was definitely online. Wow. I mean, I don't know if that's how he got the job, but I certainly recognised him from that. I was like, oh, that's great that he's got that.
Yeah, you got that. I think, I think that is good. If you are willing to learn a platform and exploit it like that and make it work for you,
perfect.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, I don't have the patience or the rep for that. Voice acting is something I'd love to get more into.
Did you get any of that training while you were at school?
No. No, there was like 1 or 2 lessons. I hope that it's improved since then.
Yeah.
Because, we didn't have nearly enough voice stuff.
What are some... Let's talk a little bit technical.
Yeah.
What are some things you wish you knew about how a camera works and how technical gear works, and that's what it could mean for you as an actor?
Question. Not so much how it works, but with cameras, because we didn't learn that much at drama school about acting for camera. It was very, we did a bit, but it was mainly theatre.
What did you do?
It's a good question. What did we pay our money for?
What did you do?
No, we did a lot of theatre and a lot of text dissection, and we did a little bit of acting for camera in terms of understanding your mark, understanding kind of like reading lines with a partner, direct eye direction, that kind of thing.
What was that class like? Was it were there cameras? Was there a camera setup?
Yeah, but it wasn't like cameras that would be used on a set now.
Right. It was one on a tripod.
Yeah, and it wasn't nearly as in depth as it needed to be.
Did you do any like coverage work?
Not
No,
really.
it was like shooting it from the front. So it was, I mean, effectively it was like an audition, like auditions for the camera kind of.
And I've actually done, we have something in London called Mixing Networks.
Mixing Networks?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like one of those, there's a couple of companies that run workshops, but this company runs workshops that you basically can pay in blocks for, which is like auditioning for camera, I think it's called. And you can, you get like 4 sessions that are like a couple of hours, and you're in a group and you're given a script during the week before. You learn the script, and then you basically audition for camera, and then you watch it back and do it again.
Okay. So kind of filling the void that the Actors Center left when it...
Yeah, and there are a couple of other companies. Other companies are available. I just...
that's the one.
Personally have used
Mixing Networks.
Yeah, they're really good. I really like them. And they run other workshops as well, and they also do this agent panel thing where you can like... do a speech to some agents and they give you some feedback. I think mainly for the benefit of it is feedback and watching yourself back, because I think it's very easy to get distracted by how you look on a camera. And I think when you've not done it for a long time or done it at all, and I know that I still do this, I watch myself, I'm like, oh, I don't like the way my hair hangs around that eyebrow.
Yep.
And that's not important.
It doesn't matter.
No. And also how minimal you move on camera, like how important it is not to be moving around too much, because it picks up. A good camera will pick up so much detail.
Yeah, everything. I mean, if you think about, like, there's so many scenes that you can like think about in a film where all the actor did was look to the side, and it meant something. And it changed the story,
because it's like real life as well. We're very subtle.
Yeah.
Well, we're not subtle, but
I am not subtle.
I am not a subtle girl. But generally, movement is really subtle, and you have to remember that it's kind of punched in a bit more than, well, it is massively more than theatre. But if your whole training background mostly has been theatre, which is all about projecting a voice, we did so much voice work, and I'm so grateful for that. It was incredibly useful,
right? But
it was not useful for acting for camera.
You really cannot be projecting that much for
Otherwise
camera.
You'll blow the poor boom operator's ears off.
He won't be very.
That
person won't be very happy.
You've just proved the point of why I work for a female-led production company.
There you go.
Because we assume they're men.
We've heard a lot about what you're doing right now. your work, adverts you've been in, but do you have a dream role? Do you have what's your dream?
Do you know, I just love BBC drama. I'd love to be in like a gritty, not even gritty. I mean, BBC is not that gritty, but like a good, solid drama.
Okay.
Or I also love like, I mean, I've always been interested in like British films as well. Not that there's anything wrong with Hollywood films. I love, if Steven Spielberg is listening to me, you can still cast me. It's okay. But
I'll still do it.
Yeah, you can. I'll still make room for it. But generally British film, I love.
Okay.
I love the style of it. And I watched a couple of films at the London Film Festival, which was through the BFI, and there was one called Aisha, which was an amazing film with, I can't remember. I think it had Josh O'Connor in it. Did it have Josh O'Connor? Can't remember. And Letitia Wright, who's incredible. And it was just it was an Irish film, actually, to be fair. But it was just the kind of film that I loved. It had a great story, really good progression. I also love comedy. So like a comedy, like sitcom.
Which role in, how there are like archetypes of comedy?
Yeah.
Which one do you want to do?
I want to do like, not a sketch show, but like, okay, this is a very British reference, so you and some of your listeners might not recognise it, but there's a show in England called Stath Lets Flats.
Okay.
And it is so silly and so unrealistic, but also kind of realistic, I'm told. And I love it. And I think it's so clever and so funny.
Stath
Lets Flats. Yeah. It's a very niche type of comedy. It's a very British comedy. And it's like Ghosts. I think you've just got Ghosts US. It's like Ghosts, the UK version. I've not watched the US one. There's a couple of crossovers, like Horrible Histories. Maybe that is a bit sketchy, but it's kind of a bit larger than life. And it just looks so much fun to do. And I think if you're not having fun in your job, what are you doing?
What are you doing? That is a great place for us. If you're not having fun in your job, what are you doing? You're spending so much time there.
Yeah.
Have fun. Find a way to have fun. Find a place that you're going to have fun.
Yeah.
That's your heart telling you that that's somewhere you belong.
Yeah.
Madi.
Yeah.
Thanus you so much for joining
us.
Thank you. How can people find you?
By following their heart. No, they can follow me. I do have Twitter, but I rarely use it anymore.
Okay.
But you can find me on Instagram at Madeline TD.
Madeline TD.
Yeah, or LinkedIn. Well, no one uses LinkedIn.
You can find her on Spotlight.
You can find me on Spotlight. Madeline Dunne, actress.
Okay, great. Now, since you had a singing lesson.
Oh God, no.
Sing us out.
Goodbye, my friends.